Hey, what's up, fellas? This sounds like a wild claim, but I'm going to say it. Grounding could be the tool that fixes all of your problems. Now, on a certain level, you don't have any problems. They're just your mind telling you that you do. But when you think about what that is, it's just thought. Are there problems outside of thought? Well, you could say, yeah, I feel shit. That's not a thought, that's a feeling. Yeah, but where's that feeling coming from? It's coming from a thought. So I'm sure if you really tried hard enough, you'll be able to prove me wrong. And there's some problems out there that aren't thought, and maybe that's the case. I don't really have time to think about that right now. But the truth is, almost all of, if not all of your problems are basically thoughts. Now, what are thoughts? I really don't know the science behind it. They're kind of these words and images that sort of seem to be activated up around my head. And quite often the thoughts aren't that helpful. They're often telling me that I can't do the things that I really want to do in life. And they tend to put me down, and when I believe them and I listen to them and I hear them, they kind of take my energy away, and they end up triggering more survival-based emotions like fear and shame and doubt and worry, and then it can really put me into a spiral of feeling shit, and then addictions come back. And yeah, this is the power of our thoughts. We all have them. We all have stories. Now, when you're doing the healing work, you want to get to a point where you're kind of releasing the stories so they don't follow you around and dictate your whole life. But there is a quicker way of not allowing them to affect you, okay? And that is the process of grounding. And that is essentially, you can take the esotericness out of grounding, or the hippiness, because it gets a bit of a bad rep. But if you were a fully healthy human being, you wouldn't need to practice grounding, because you would naturally be grounded. So grounding essentially is bringing us back to a state of health. Okay, so activation up here, thoughts, stories, limiting beliefs, all the shit that you've been carrying that's made you feel shit, all of your problems up here. Okay, so when stress arises, the first thing you do is go up into your head, because that's just how you've learnt from repetition for many years, ever since you were born, pretty much. I mean, not when you were born, you didn't go straight up here because you were able to emote and express the emotions that you're avoiding by going up into your head. But it's a bad habit that we pick up. It's a survival mechanism, right? If you think of a tribe that's under threat, they're not going to be hanging around feeling grounded and making art and opening their heart. They're going to be activated up here looking for how they can survive. So this is a survival tool, right? Because when our life's in danger, we need to ensure that we can stay alive. But most of stress today we're not in any real danger. It's just our unconscious minds think we are because of the information we fed it. So, you know, if I were to go up on stage in front of 1,000 people with nothing planned, that's going to be super fucking scary. Now, I'm not under any threat of death there, but the emotion that's going to come out of me, the fear, the cortisol, the adrenaline, my unconscious is going to do anything to stop me doing that. That's because it thinks that I'm going to die. I'm being rejected 1,000 times potentially. I mean, that's a huge thing, but I'm not under a threat. Now, if your thing may not be talking, I'm sure everyone's afraid of talking in front of 1,000 people, but let's bring it back to something that you're afraid of, and that when you go after that thing, you hesitate and then you don't. It's because the energy will more likely put you up in your head, and then you get afraid and you get stressed and it's uncomfortable, and so you don't continue forward. You stop there, you freeze. Right, now, if you had practiced embodiment enough times and really built your presence, your awareness to see when your energy is shooting up into your head, you have the ability to respond instead of react and bring the energy down into your legs. So you're essentially like bringing stress, pulls us up into our minds, right? Stress pulls us out of our body. Presence brings us down. Presence allows us to find our center. So a center, like that could be like the dantian, which is the area just below the belly button. Like, can you, as you watch the video now, can you just feel down into your lower belly and see if you can feel stability there? Now you may find that you're able to do that. Maybe you've practiced this. This is a part of the body that the ancient Taoists used for, I mean, this knowledge goes back many thousands of years. It's a way of regulating your nervous system, right? Finding your center. When you meditate, can you just put your awareness down here and breathe into it? And just, it's amazing what it can do. I'm going a little bit off topic here, but coming back to that spot in your body below your belly button, sort of come back there and feel it with your awareness. And just notice if your breath isn't dropping down that low. That means you're carrying tension in your stomach. That's going to mean that your lungs aren't breathing to its full capacity. That's going to put you in more fight or flight. When you're in fight or flight, you can't grow, you really can't be happy. It's going to make going after the things you want in life very hard, right? Bring it back down. Breathe down into your lower belly. Just see if you can find a sense of stability down there. Now, if you can't, then you're probably going to feel uncomfortable because you want to feel stable, right? So if you don't feel stable, it's going to bring up uncomfortable feelings and thoughts. Now, if you're like most people, you just won't do that exercise again. But if you want to find stability, and believe me, you really do want to feel stable in life, then you want to sit with everything that's not stability, because that will release and allow you to find the stability that's there. So you're just sitting with the fact that you're not. Feel the emotions that come up when you realize you're not that stable. They won't last forever. No emotion does. So I'm talking about grounding, aren't I? We're like a hose. Our energy is like water, right? Now, in order for the water to go through the hose, there can't be any kinks in the hose. And so we're kind of the same thing. We've got a bunch of kinks in our body because of the emotions that we've stored over the years of non-expression, of holding back, right? Based on a whole number of reasons, but they create the kinks. And now, when stress comes up or you have to do something uncomfortable, something difficult, a difficult situation in life arises, you need to have a difficult conversation. Maybe you want to start a relationship with someone or end a relationship. Maybe you want to assert your boundaries a little bit. Maybe you want to ask your boss for a raise. I mean, there's just so many things that you could do that is uncomfortable. If you're just shooting up into your head, it's going to make it very hard. You're probably going to want to avoid it. And if you do it and you shoot in your head, you're going to push the other person away energetically, because that's how it works. Essentially, you're avoiding your emotions. But if you could be feeling your legs, activating energy in your legs, whilst you step towards the discomfort in life, step towards those uncomfortable conversations. Don't take my word for it. Like, feel your legs now. Just feel, wherever you are, just feel your legs. You don't need to use your hands, right? You've got legs. If you just think about your legs, if you want, and then that will activate feeling, and then drop the thought and just feel. If you're sat down, feel the legs against the chair, feel your clothes against the skin of your legs. These things will just start activating your legs. Now, if you're able to access feeling in your legs, and if you can't, get in touch for some coaching, because you really want to be able to do that in life. But if you can, now imagine yourself having an uncomfortable situation or stepping towards a goal that brings up discomfort. And imagine doing it from this energy, not up here where all the fucking stories exist, right? No one likes you, whatever the story is, but down here, because the stories don't exist down there. That was the reason why it brings me back to the stories, what I was talking about at the start of the video, right? Stories exist up here, we can release them, we can do the work to let them go, but if you want to get away from the stories in your mind quickly, you want to bring activation away from your head and down into your body. And your legs are the furthest part of your body away from your head, of course. So that's where you start to activate to avoid the stories in your head. Now, going back to public speaking, when I get on stage, this is the reason, I've been wanting to hold events and I've been holding myself back so much because I'm afraid of the stories and the feelings that come out of the stories when I get up on stage. And that is, no one gives a shit what I'm talking about. Like, no one cares. And it's such a horrible feeling. It's like this aloneness. I'm just on stage alone and no one gives a shit what I've got to say. And it's a horrible feeling, and it's why I don't do it. It's why I've been avoiding going up on stage and running events, because I don't want to feel that feeling. But thanks to my connection with my legs, thanks to my grounding work, thanks to the embodiment work that I've been doing, it's calmed my nervous system down enough, and it's given me enough presence to see when I shoot up into my head and allow myself to bring it back down. It's given me the confidence to go after the things that I've been avoiding, because I know it's what's best for my own development. I know it's what I'm here to do. I'm here to run events and to do this sort of work with groups of people, but I need to face what's in the way first. No, that's not quite true. I need to do it and then deal with all the shit that comes up. If I was to wait until everything was perfect, that day may never come. So I did my first in-person event a couple of weeks ago, and every time a bit of fear or insecurity came up, or a thought that, oh shit, no one gives a shit what I'm saying, I'd catch it, bring it back down to my legs. Because the stories are still there, right? I haven't got rid of the stories yet. So the best thing I can do right now is, rather than just not run an event, is to do it and to just bring the stories down, bring the activation down, bring the stress down into my legs, send it down into the ground if I have to. Just maintain feeling my legs. It's a really, really fantastic way of dealing with life. It's such a powerful tool. You know, check my energy now as you watch this video. Does it feel like I'm grounded? Because right now I'm feeling my legs, and a lot of this video I haven't. But now as I talk to you, I can feel my feet against the ground, and I can feel the activation on my legs with each step I take. And it does take me out of my head. It does mean that I can flow when I talk. It means that I'm not overthinking everything that's coming out of my mouth. I can just truly be of service to you guys when you're watching my videos. So see if you can apply this to your life. If you do, comment the benefits. Comment what you notice when you start feeling your legs more, because there's never a bad time to do it. I wouldn't accept from anyone that they don't have time to do this work, because you can do it when you do anything. I can be practicing grounding now. You can be practicing grounding when you listen to this video. You can practice grounding when you're brushing your teeth, when you're cooking, when you're cleaning, when you're driving to work, when you're walking, anywhere you're working. I can't think of a time where you can't use this practice, because it doesn't require anything other than to feel, and you can feel whilst you do anything else. It's the same with driving. When you first started driving, you had to really focus and concentrate. If you were playing a podcast when you first learned how to drive, you wouldn't have been listening to a word that was coming out of those speakers. How could you listen to someone talk about something new, something for you to learn, whilst at the same time you're trying to figure out the driving, the gear stick, the pedals, all of it. You wouldn't have been able to do it. Now you're good at driving, it becomes something that you do. Now you can listen to a podcast and take in all the information. If anything, I think it's better, because you're concentrating on the driving, it opens up your mind to take in the information that you're listening to. And it's the same with embodiment and grounding, right? When you first start, it's going to take a bit of mental effort, but after a while you can just start to do it whilst you do anything else, and that's just going to free up your time, so your self-development practice can just be a part of life rather than taking you out of important tasks. And you're just going to start noticing some major benefits to your life, especially around the state of your nervous system and having a more regulated nervous system. If you want to work one-on-one with me, just message me. My details are going to be in the description. I'm hosting a workshop this Thursday. It's completely free. If you want to get to know me, I'd love to get to know some of you. Do click the link. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Share my videos to anyone you think would be interested, and I'll see you in the next one.